Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of fine nerds, and we're going to be playing another not D&D game. I can't believe it. We're on a streak now. We're going to be playing some Mork Borg, the Crawling Death Below the Dying Forest, which is an adventure that is right now on GameFound. Link in the description that you can go check out and back. But if you need more content for your Mork Borg games, and you know what, even if you don't have Mork Borg games, it'll be a great introduction to get that and get the Mork Borg game, because it is a lot of fun. Brian Colin of Creature Curations is going to be running the game for us, and if you're a regular, you're going to recognize the faces: Robin Miller, Stephen Partridge, and of course Nerdarchy, Dave, and Ted. With that, I'm just going to throw it to the GM, Brian.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for tonight's game. If you don't want spoilers as to what's in the adventure book that's currently on GameFound, now's a great time to tune out. But there are 4 adventure hooks in the game, and tonight we will be playing through one of them. Because everyone here has not played Mork Borg, I'm going to go through a couple of quick basics about the rules, and we'll go through that really quick before diving in. It's a really simple system. You have 4 stats. Everything is a D20 based roll. Basically, you're going to roll your D20, add the modifier based on your stat. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, because you're not always good at what you do, especially when starting out. Hit points are low often with characters because it's very easy to die in this world that is coming to an end. There are also, in the setting, because the end is near, there are prophecies that come to pass. So at the beginning of each session, we roll to see if one of these torments has occurred, and we will do that in just a moment. You also have omens, which are things that can help save your ass. If you roll really horribly, there's certain things they can do. They can allow you to re-roll the die. They can allow you to adjust the difficulty of something by 4 points. So a standard difficulty is 12. So you roll your D20, add your modifier, and say you really wanted to make this happen and you got close, you could spend one of your omens to adjust that difficulty. It can cancel out a fumble. It can reduce the damage that you take by 6 hit points, or it can do maximum damage. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your omens. You should have omens listed on your character sheets as to how many you have. They do replenish each day, so that's good. If you have scrolls, that is the magic in the universe. Okay, you're going to roll a D4 at the beginning of the game, and that is how many times you can use scrolls throughout the day. You can use as many as you have, or if you come across scrolls in the adventure, you can spend those points to use a scroll. With that, you'll have to make a successful presence test to make sure that you cast the scroll properly. If you fumble on that, really, really bad stuff happens. As you know, because you're messing with some arcane arts that could go horribly wrong. I think that's pretty much it for the basics of the rules. This can lean towards a horror game, but for this, it's more of a dungeon crawl. So I don't think there are many things that for lines and veils. In any of my games, there should never be any sort of sexual violence at the table. If you have any lines or veils that you don't want to cross, things that may occur in the setting but not in the gameplay, you can let us know, and we'll make sure not to have any of that in gameplay, but it should be pretty mild as far as any of that goes. Anybody at the table have anything that they want to make sure doesn't occur?
I'm good. And if anyone has anything, you can privately message Brian as well, if you like.
Yes. And we'll stop it and reroute wherever things go. But I don't think there should be too much here. It's mainly going to be some gross things and stuff happening through any violence. But I think most of that has come to be expected in the game. So before we get to see if something disastrous has occurred in the day, which happens with all of the Mork Borg games, you as a group has been together for a few months. You know each other as well as you might know each other at this point. Your troop of people, I'd like you to describe individually what the rest of your troop would know about each other, just so we can kind of get a feel for the party. I'll start with the order that I see people on my screen, though that may not be the order that it is to everybody else. So Dave, can you tell us the name of your character and anything that the other players might know about you?
Sure. So Kvetin, when he speaks, you have to stay out of spraying range because he's always kind of snotty and phlegmy, and things are flying all over the place. And he's very tall and gaunt, and looks like he's been starved for quite some while. He's a bit of an entourage that follows him everywhere he goes. His faithful jester, Paltroon, of course, and the 5 monkeys, 4 small monkeys and 1 big monkey. All the small monkeys are dressed, and 2 of them have names. The other 3 do not. And often you can see them passing around a feline skull that will occasionally meow. Oh, and I have a really pretty sword that I pretty much always keep sheathed.
And Robin, can you tell us your character's name and what they would know about them?
Oh, my character's name is Graft, and he has a mouth full of massive, protruding, thickly sharp teeth that are always just a little bit slathering. He has this constant macabre grin on his face. Like, even when he's just chilling out, it's just consistently manic. If there are crows or ravens anywhere, he is throwing rocks at them, and if you touch him, you are going to get hit. My character sheet literally says no contact without some violence.
Excellent.
He has apparently an ancient gorehound following him around. I have no idea what that looks like.
Well, it will look however you want it to look.
Cool. Then it also has a mouthful of very sharp and very crammed in their teeth.
Fantastic. And do you think that this gorehound does what Graft says?
Oh, no. Okay. No, not at all.
Very good. Okay, Ted, can you tell us about your character?
So I'll be playing Nagel, and he is a fairly old priest, if you will. He's got his crucifix that he wears around his neck, clanking against his mail. But he's got very shifty eyes and talks down not only about himself, but about others as well, especially when they've just kind of left the room. And I rolled randomly. He does not like to be in the same room as Graft. Alone.
Okay.
So
very good.
You guys know that he believes that there are cultists everywhere, and he's always going on, probably rambling with stories that sometimes contradict each other about what happened when he was in the cult, the cult that he escaped from.
Nice. Ted, what was your character's name? I didn't catch that.
Nagel.
Okay.
Yep.
And Stephen.
Okay, so I'm going to be playing Torval, an esoteric hermit. Torval is a corpulent fellow with layers upon layers of robes that he wears as a means of sort of hiding his corpulence, and doesn't work super well. He absolutely fights all of that. He tends to be a little bit cowardly. Of note, he's lost 3 toes on his left foot, which causes him to have a sort of limp, which he carries this gnarled wooden staff with this gray-black wood that he uses to help him walk. And he carries with him a skull. The skull's name is Priscilla. He whispers to the skull frequently and only seems to trust Priscilla with his darkest of secrets.
Very good. Okay, as I had mentioned earlier, there are occur in this world. So because it is a one-shot, how close to the end of times do you want this world to be? If it's very close to the end, we would roll a D2, and if a 1 happens, then a misery occurs. When 7 miseries occur, then the world comes to a cataclysmic end. If it's a cruel month, then we'd roll a D6. If it's a fall in anguish, it would be a D10, and then it keeps going up from there.
I'm cool with a D2. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
I'm good with whatever.
I think if you roll one of the D2, the game's over, though.
No, it's
Bring
there's
us
7 have
pain.
to occur.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well,
Roll the D2 then.
yeah, Ted, since you
Ted
called it,
called
you
it.
roll the D2 and let me know what you get.
All right. So 1, 2, 3 is a 1. 4, 5, 6. That's gonna be a 1.
Okay, so since Dave, you haven't rolled, and Stephen, you haven't rolled, each of you roll a 6. Dave will be a D6. Dave, your 6 will be first, and
One.
that will be the misery that occurs. What'd you get, Dave?
A 1.
Okay, Stephen?
I got a 6.
And blood cough shall spread like fire across the wastelands of the drought. So that may happen in the game itself. It may happen somewhere else in the setting, but that occurs. Now, what your troop has been brought to do, Malkala the Mad Warlock has gone into hiding in these tunnels that lie below the Forest of the Dead. He stole the lost tome of Abyssal from the one-eyed truth speaker. This bent old oracle has offered you a large sum of silver for its return and Malkala's hands. Or perhaps you want the scrolls that he's stolen for your own magical purpose. Either way, you've been sent to this strange tunneling area that lies beneath the dying forest. To the west of the Bergen Crypt, and between that and the Valley of the Unfortunate and Undead, at the far edges of the forest, on the outskirts of the regions, are entries to a cavernous tunnel system that allow those who dare not travel through the dying forest a way to go beneath them. And that is where Malkala is believed to have gone with this ancient tome. So you would decide for yourself whether you're individually going for the purpose of bringing back the hands of Malkala and returning this tome, or perhaps you want these magical scrolls for yourself. As you know, scrolls are very powerful and worth quite a pretty penny. Just on the outs, go ahead.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I personally would like to see that scroll come to a better use than giving up. And he sort of like pats this scroll tube that he has hanging from his hip.
Very nice.
And you expect to use it better.
Priscilla does, don't you, my dear? Yes, we could use it better together, couldn't we?
Yeah, but are you going to be able to get us paid that way?
I don't know, let me ask. Priscilla, are we going to get paid for it? That's the question I want to know. She says yes.
You're not thinking of starting a cult, are you?
Cult? No, cult. Such a dirty word. Now, Priscilla, they know about the cult. What do we do?
You should probably lead the way, you and Priscilla. You seem to really know what's going on. I will take the rear and bring up the vanguard.
Indeed, yes. Priscilla, watch out for the monkeys. The monkeys, they come looking for us. Now here's monkeys too. Oh dear Lord, the gods above and below and otherwise. Why do you carry the monkeys with you?
How do the monkeys and the hound get along?
Several of the monkeys are actually used to traveling with a hound in the past, and the other two usually ride on my shoulder. Frank and Molly. The other two small monkeys kind of caper around Big Monkey, and all the little monkeys are impeccably dressed. I'm not sure where any of them got the clothes from because I didn't dress them.
The asthmatic gorehound is described as being asthmatic, deluded, and on its last legs, so I doubt it has the energy to chase.
Yes, probably not.
I didn't hear the asthmatic part. All I heard was the gorehound, and I'm thinking like this massive animal companion.
It was at one point, and now it is very elderly and sometimes thinks that I am the bad guy.
I don't know. I'm looking at my character sheet. This dude's got a talking skull. This person's got a hound. That person's got a cadre of monkeys. I don't have a companion. No wonder I've got an inferiority complex.
Well, I also have a jester following me as well. He's very
jester part's
annoying.
the odd part. Yeah. So as you get to the entrance to the tunnels, you can see where where you were instructed to go by the one-eyed truth speaker. He told you exactly where on the edge of this forest that you would need to go. And you see this kind of strange curved entryway that looks like it's been dug out directly into the side of a hill, which looks like it goes right below the dying forest.
Interesting. Well, chaps, off you go. I'll take up the rear, won't we, Priscilla?
So that changes the order of who goes first. If you're moving in, then who's going to enter in first into this tunnel system?
Did anyone bring torches?
We'll say that even if you don't have it on your character sheet, we can say that somebody has torches or a lantern. I'm more than happy to have it that you have things to see through.
I have coins, so I would be able to, have purchased torches if that was, possible.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any symbology or anything on the doors?
There is no door. It's like it's carved directly directly into the earth. It's like there's vines and roots that kind of come down and twist and contort and turn, almost like they've been shaped into almost like a perfect archway into the ground.
Well, then, instead of on the door, is there anything on the archway or, at the entrance that is, even a rudimentary, carving of any kind?
Roll a presence test. That's going to be a D20 and add your presence modifier.
That's going to be a 7.
You're looking and it all just looks like roots that have just kind of naturally grown and formed this way and have shaped around the entrance to this tunnel system.
You've heard me talk about it before, but the two-headed basilisk that's after me, it could possibly be in here. Why don't one of you go first?
That's an excellent point. You toothy one. I don't think anything's going to get in the way of that maw.
I'm just like grinning, but also leering at all of you at the same time, and I'm just pointing. Cowards.
Yes,
a lot of you cowards, and I scamper off into the hole.
Graft, as you work your way into the tunnel, it's getting inside. It starts to open up to about almost 10 feet wide, and it twists and turns, leading down 30 or 40 feet until it starts to curve around, and you can see where the tunnel itself starts to branch off to the west, and then it continues northbound. Everybody that's in there, make a presence test as you're in, as soon as you start working your way into the tunnel system.
Okay.
I swear there's more than, single digit numbers on this die, but that's
14.
13?
14.
14? Okay.
Does it matter that I got a natural 20?
Not for this, but on other things it would.
Okay, so that's a total of 22.
Okay, so Graft and Torvik, you as you're working your way through, you notice that the walls around you are just kind of slowly expanding and then contracting and then expanding and then contracting, almost rhythmically in a very slow, but not just enough that you know that if it weren't for your watchful eye, you might not have caught this.
Yeah, I'm happy that Nagel didn't notice that.
Priscilla, are you sure that this is the right way to go? I don't. Come on, kids.
Graft, is your
What's your character's name again?
Mine?
Dave.
My character's name is Kvetin.
Kvetin?
Kvetin.
I would like to point a finger, like just this massive tongue lolls out of his mouth and just like licks up the side of it, and I'm gonna hold it up and see if there's a draft in here.
As you hold it up, there's a slight draft coming from the direction that you came, but not in the way that would cause the walls to pulse the way that they are.
Okay, so it's not like breath coming up and down this tunnel then.
No.
Okay.
It's almost as though the walls are coming in and out and in and out.
Well, that's pretty normal. All right, let's go.
Are we sure we're going the right way, Priscilla? Are we going the right way? I have an ability. It's called Master of Fate, where I can know the right way with a DR8 presence test.
Okay.
Is that a thing I can do?
Sure, absolutely. But the right way for you would be leading you to Malkala. Is that what you would think that the right way would be?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll the presence test and with the DR8.
Okay. That's a 13 on the die plus 2 for presence is 15.
Okay, so that succeeds. So you believe that you should be going west, as opposed because the corridor, there's a branch going west and there's one that continues northbound.
Okay. Graft.
Yes.
Priscilla says we should go west. I'm not sure.
Is Priscilla ever wrong?
Priscilla has never been wrong before.
Look, she's wrong this time. I'm taking it out of your meat, and I go west.
Okay. Since Torvik decided to go west, will you roll a d6 for me?
Okay. A D6.
So, because we're playing this as one of the storylines in the adventure module, I've gotten specific rooms that have to be in the story to make the storyline work. So you're rolling what room is next. Another way to do this would be to roll a d6 and a d10, which would take random rooms out of the adventure and put them as the next room in the story.
Okay, I got a 4.
Okay.
I hear there's even cards you could lay out during the adventure to plot your course.
There sure is. Cartography, which is an add-on in the game. So as Graft, as you're starting to work your way through, you see the tunnel opens up to about 30 feet wide 15 feet wide instead of the 10 feet that you were in. And you can see where it opens up into a much larger stance. As you're working your way through, it also then veers off to the northeast and then continues westward. Walking in, starting to kind of look around, make an agility test and let me know what you get.
Oh no. $11.
As your foot starts to go in, you realize that there are jagged roots that start to wrap around your leg as your foot starts to sink in and it starts to splinter. Once your foot's in there, make a toughness test because the splinters break off and try to go into your leg itself. All of you behind Graft see their foot kind of sinking into the ground ahead of them.
15.
Okay. You step in and you feel something poking at you and it doesn't feel very nice, but you can tell that your body's fighting off something that is starting to course through your veins just a little bit. What do the rest of you do?
I will move up to grab Graf underneath the arms and like pull them back out of the sinking ground.
Okay, you go to pull back. Make a strength test because it's trying to tighten its grip on Graf's leg.
Oh, that's a 5.
You're pulling, but something about the air under these tunnels is just kind of taking the breath out of you, and you're having a hard time trying to pull Graft out.
Maybe. Priscilla, what do we do? Cool monkeys. So on my character sheet, I have 2 monkeys that ignore but love me. I don't know what that's about, but I want to just throw monkeys into the fray, I guess.
Okay. So do you like pick up the monkeys and toss them in to see what happens, or?
Yeah, basically they like come up just apparently out of nowhere, and he like lifts one and just chucks it.
as you chuck it, I'm just for something else, roll a presence test. Almost all like projectile things use presence in this. So like if you're doing like a bow and arrow or a sling or something like that.
My blood splatter die loves me. I got an 18
Fantastic.
plus 2, so that's 20, dirty 20.
That monkey just kind of tumbles through the air, lands on a patch that doesn't seem to sink. Did you throw both of them?
Yes, I was gonna throw both of them because he hates the monkeys. The monkeys are terrible.
So because you threw them both, they both flew through the air and they landed on this strange spot, each on strange solid spots. And as they land, you can hear this almost like the sound of an old gear, and this kind of door opens up behind where the kind of root snare traps that line the ground are on the northwest wall.
Okay.
Is Graf still sinking?
Graft is not sinking, but Graft is like ensnared.
Stuck.
I wanna bite the root back.
Awesome. So
Does
you're just
anyone
gonna
have
like
a-
lean down, like gnaw
Yeah.
your ankle.
No, I'm gonna bite the root, not my ankle.
Right, the root that's around your ankle.
Oh,
though,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
That's going to require some extreme flexibility.
I think because it's not really mobile and not really moving, you're able to bite that easily. And the damage that you would do from the teeth of your mouth just kind of rip away at it. So you're able to pull your leg free. And you do still have some splinters in against your leg.
That can't be good for your mouth.
Now that you're looking and seeing where Graft has been set footing in there, you can see different parts that are definitely look more alive on the ground than the rest of the floor. So you can kind of see where those roots have kind of intertwined and moved about, and where you may or may not want to step.
Yeah. I feel like Big Monkey is going to turn towards Torvik and kind of like sneer and give him a dirty look. And then he'll go over and pat his two little monkeys.
Silla, there's more monkeys. What are we going to do?
There's a lot of monkeys in your crew.
If you don't like the monkeys, you could give them to Kvetin.
You know, that's not a bad idea, actually. Kvetin, would you like to take these monkeys that have been stalking me for ages?
I don't own the monkeys. They just follow me around. They're okay. At night, when you don't have a place to stay, they tend to pile up on top of you, and it makes like a fur blanket. Big Monkey will take care of them. Big Monkey likes all the monkeys.
That's really
terrifying. I will go to the monkeys, and I'll I don't think they're gonna understand me, but I'm a wackadoo, so whatever. Like, do you wish to go to Torval, or would you like to go to Kvetin?
And you can describe what your monkeys do, because I'm okay with you being in control of whatever they do, even if they don't work with your character particularly.
They act like they still like Torval because it says that they love him. I imagine this is probably not the first time he's tried to get rid of them, and it has failed. But they will hang out with the other monkeys.
Very
so we
good.
now have 7 monkeys instead of 5 monkeys in the group.
You can never have too many monkeys.
No.
Unless they're jumping on the bed.
All right. Does anyone else's backup character have monkeys? Maybe we can make the goal of this game to see how many monkeys we can give to him. Sorry. Go ahead.
What do you do? There's the corridor going west, there's the corridor going northeast, and on the northwest wall, there's a door that has opened up.
Let's see what's in there. It was a hidden door. That's where the best stuff is always kept, behind hidden doors.
Are you so sure about that?
I give you a derisive snort and look. Of course, everyone knows that.
It's also where the most dangerous things are going to be.
Priscilla, is it right?
So does Kvetin just take charge and head straight into that room?
Kvetin will head towards the door and peek in, and seeing that like there's traps, he's gonna remove his sword and begin using the sheathed sword to kind of poke the ground in front of him.
Okay. As you're poking the ground, you can see some of it kind of recoil out of the way, not wanting to get jabbed and stabbed. As you work and start looking around the corner of the door, it's just a natural alcove. Like all of the walls under here, all of the ceilings, it's all built of roots and lined with the roots of the dying forest above. But as you poke your head around, it just smells dry and stagnant. There's an odor of some sort of roasted nuts in the room, but it's the only thing that you see in there is just a rolled up piece of paper with a piece of string tied around it.
Oh, crap. And with that, all the monkeys fly into the room looking for the nuts.
They are picking around. They're probably like picking little bits and tiny pieces of crumbs of stuff long gone out of this room and just getting little tiny crumbs and popping them in their mouths.
With that, I will go and take a look at the piece of paper.
Can your character read? Do you think your character can read?
I think so. He was nobility once upon a time.
Okay. Roll a d6 for what you find.
That is a 6.
Looking at that, it looks like the edge of the page was torn out of a tome. And reading it is you can tell that this is indeed a scroll and could possibly be from the tome that you were sent to pick up. It is a scroll of transference. As you read it and start to understand it, the caster can transfer their mind into an immobile creature. And if the creature moves, the caster misses the host and they now have no physical form from what you can read.
Interesting. I'll just tuck that away.
Oh, anything in there?
Nuts. Old nuts.
Nuts.
Do you mean like the kind you eat? Or do you mean like there are strange, crazy monsters?
I think he's saying that there's nothing in there.
The kind you eat.
Priscilla.
I'm not sure about the other kind you speak. And I definitely thought you were going in a different direction. But with that, to the west? Is that where you want to go? Is that where Priscilla has directed you?
Let me ask. Priscilla, where do we go? Am I allowed to use this ability more than once, or am I just going to fake it?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
And
I only have 2 hit points, so y'all better protect me because I am the walking compass. That's a 16 plus 2. My blood splatter die is doing right by me tonight.
Awesome. Nagel, will you roll a d6 and a d10 and roll it like percentile dice with the d6 coming first?
Sure. 67.
As the corridor leading westbound opens up, you can tell that it's a little more musty in here, but cool air seems to be blowing down from above. There must be some sort of opening up to the forest floor above. The walls shimmer with small beaded droplets glistening as large webbing is on both the southern portion of the room and the northern portion of the room. It looks like it probably opens up to a massive alcove to the south where there's little dips in the webbing, but the webs go up easily 40 feet before you can feel like air coming down from above.
All right, I've seen something like this before. And what we learned the hard way was the safest way to get through is to run very fast and be first.
Not very fast.
You do not want to lag behind.
I can't help but lag behind. Perhaps, though, perhaps you can make a distraction. Priscilla, we need to make a distraction, darling. And I would like to use my scroll that I have on my character.
Fantastic. So
Oh.
you're gonna spend one of your points for that. Did you roll a d4 at the beginning?
No, I will roll a d4 at the beginning.
Okay.
I got a 1.
Okay, so this is the one time you're going to get to use a scroll today.
Okay.
But you need to make a presence test, and so you're going to roll a presence with a DR of 12.
Okay. I got a 12 on the die, and I have presence of +2.
Okay, so that succeeds. So what scroll were you using?
Foul Psycho Pump. It's an unclean scroll. It summons on a d6, so 1 to 3 is a d4 worth of skeletons. I don't know, 4 to 6, it's a d4 worth of zombies.
Excellent. So roll a d6 and let us know what you get.
Okay. 2.
Okay, and then roll a d4.
1 again.
Okay, so you pull out your scroll and you start casting this power, and right around the end of the power, you see, like, coming out from within some of the webbing, you see a skeleton like trying to push its way, like break its way through the webbing itself. As it's starting to tear and move, you can hear almost like a skittering sound as this is happening. Everybody roll a presence test and let me know what you get.
9 total.
Okay.
I have to change die because that's 3 times in a row that 8. That is a total of 2.
Yeah.
15.
Okay. So for those that got above a 12, you sense movement from up above. The wind that was coming down is no longer coming down, and you can see almost like there might have been like a pin light of light coming through from above, and it's shadowed now as some giant multiple-legged creature with large, humongous pinchers on its front starts working its way down the giant webbing. What do you all do?
Yeah, it's there. So
I have a sling with unlimited fist-sized rocks. I would like to implement this.
Okay, because you and Kvetin see it coming, I'll let you go ahead and take an action this round before we would roll initiative for the entire encounter. So go ahead to hit with that. It's a presence roll, and it's a difficulty of 12.
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
my rock just goes sailing in the exact wrong direction.
Gets caught in one of the webs and just boing, boing. Kvetin, what are you doing?
So to read scrolls, is that you said you have to spend points? Is that your Omen?
So no, that's powers. So at the
Okay.
beginning of each day, you roll a d4, and that's how many power points you have.
Okay. I will roll that, but let's see. How far up is it?
It's probably a good 20 feet at the moment. Like, it's worked its way down pretty quickly.
I will draw my blade and sprint to the other side of the cavern.
Like to the northern area where there's the corridor going north.
Yeah. And as I do, it whisks free of the sheath. What's your problem now, loser? The blade hisses at me. And I will kind of like brandish it above me in case it decides to jump.
Fantastic. Okay. Since Kvetin and Graft saw all this coming, Graft, will you roll a d6 for initiative? Initiative in Mork Borg works on a d6 basis. If you get 1 to 3, the players go first. If you get a 4 to 6, the bad guys go first. And then we'll roll individual initiatives from there, which will be a d6 plus your agility modifier. Did
Is this me?
yes. Mm-hmm. A d6.
3.
Excellent. Okay. So you get to go first. So if each of you would roll initiative, which is a D6 plus your agility, and I will write it down, and then we'll go in that order.
I've got a dirty 5. Oh no, I
What
got a
happens
6.
if you
That's
get
right. I don't-
negatives?
If you get negatives for initiative, that would just mean you would go last in the group. So it's not
Okay,
a big deal.
that's it.
I got a 1 + 0.
Okay, so you got a 1. Okay, so Kvetin, you are standing there holding the sword. It hasn't quite made its way down yet. What would you like to do?
Does it look like it can fit through the cavern on the other side?
Probably so. Like the tunnel that you're about to enter into is about 10 feet wide. This thing looks like its torso is probably about 8 feet wide, but its legs are sprawled out quite massively. So, but you know that things of this nature can squeeze through cracks and holes that probably shouldn't physically be able to.
All right, I want to run down the corridor.
Okay, roll a D6 and a D10 for me.
All right, I'm sure this will be fine. Which one comes first?
The D6.
That is a 17.
All of a sudden, the rest of the group sees Kvetin and most of his monkeys run down the corridor. You enter into a large opening room that's probably 25 feet by like 40 feet deep. There's stone. It's cool air, and it's filled with a strange static electricity. You feel the hairs on your body, and you see some of the hairs on the monkeys starting to stand up a little bit. There's a stone circle that fills most of the room, and almost looking kind of like a Stonehenge. And inside of it, there's a lonely piece of paper just kind of floating up above the air, with a corridor off to the right-hand side, to the eastern side. So you're able to run into the room, see all this, and then we'll get back to the rest of the group. Nagel, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pull out my sling, give it a go, and make sure that one of my allies is between it and me. So this is a presence test.
It is. So it's a D20 plus your presence modifier.
All right. Well, this apparently does not like me. It's a 6.
Okay, you fling your rock off into nowhere as well. It hits some webbing and gets caught. So that would bring us to Torvik.
Okay. He's gonna focus on trying to watch the monster and avoid it. Because he does not want to directly engage with this thing, because he tends to be very cowardly. And so he's going to instead hobble his way to follow where Kvetin went.
Okay, so you're able to work your way behind and work your way up into the same room, because you can move and action kind of in the same round. So you see what Kvetin saw. Graft, what are you doing?
Probably trying to throw another rock at the spider, let's be honest. So sling roll. 17.
That hits, and roll the damage.
Great. 1.
So you sling it and it hits, but like as it hits, you hear it ping on its exoskeleton, because it has these natural plating all around it. And you hear it hit, and you can, just from the sound, you know that it didn't really do anything to this beast.
Yeah, no.
And it leaps down to attack. Okay, it's going to be odd will be Graft, even will be Nagel, and it is even. So the way attacks work in this, I don't roll for the attack. You basically roll to defend against it. So what you're going to do is make an agility test. Do you have any armor on? Does Nagel have any armor?
Yeah, he's wearing mail armor.
And what is the does it have a tier on it, or
Yeah, tier 2?
tier 2, and then does it also have? So that's tier 2, so it's -4. So tier 2
minus
allows,
D4 damage, tier 2, DR +2 on agility test, including defense.
yes. Okay. So your normal, you'd normally have to get a 12 or higher, but because of the armor, it makes it harder to kind of move around in. So you have to get a 14 or higher to avoid these pinchers that are coming in at you.
So I have +2 agility. I rolled a 10, which would be a 12, but that's not good enough because, you know, the armor is clanky.
It is not. So its pinchers come in at a D8 damage. So you roll the D8, but then you also roll the damage that your armor soaks.
I will roll them together to see what happens. So it does 5 damage, and I soak 1 of it. So -4.
Okay. So you just feel this horrible crushing pinch. Graft, you see this happening. We're back at the top of the round. Kvetin, you are in the other room. What would you like to do?
So at this point, has Torvik reached me?
Yes.
I have my sword. I'm brandishing my sword and kind of waiting around the corner so that, like, if it comes, so it'll go kind of like past if it moves into the room. Do you think they're dead yet?
I don't know. I just heard a terrible scream. Priscilla, what was that?
Perhaps you can use that scroll over there.
Perhaps. Ooh, Priscilla, should we use the scroll? So I guess he will go and use the scroll, assuming Priscilla said yes.
So once you step into the circle, inside the actual the stone circle, you are just frozen, and you just kind of are paralyzed, unable to move.
I did not see that happening, big monkey.
What okay, so that's all that happens with you. Nagel, what are you doing now that you have been attacked and sufficiently damaged?
I don't have a melee weapon. I don't think you can fire a sling when something is like biting you.
Probably not, but if you have silver and would like a melee weapon, we can say that you spent some of the silver before the adventure began.
Right, I do indeed. So I'm a priest, so I'll go with the old D&D thing. So he's got a mace, club, if you will.
Okay.
And
very good. So a club, like a staff, is D4. So yeah. I think it would either be that, or if you wanted like something like a mace, we could do like with spikes on it. We could do like a D6.
I'm good with I think a staff seems too big for this old guy. He's got a -1 strength, so
gotcha. Yeah,
I think a club for a D4 is more than sufficient.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a swing, knowing full.
And this is going to be a strength test because it's hand to hand.
Oh yeah, completely. So this is not going to go well for me. I rolled a 13, so -1 is a 12.
So that hits. So with the DR 12, that is the standard DR. So that hits. Roll the damage.
That is 3.
So you slam down on it, and you feel like your club kind of bounce back as this giant cave cricket spider thing has this natural armor on it that just does not want to give in to these rudimentary weapons that you've been wielding thus far.
So it doesn't look like it did anything, or it just looks like it didn't do as much?
It didn't do anything because I rolled the damage that it absorbed.
Sure. Cool.
Graft, what are you doing?
Running.
I throw another stone.
Okay, roll to hit.
10.
Just flies right by.
So do you head towards our ally? You're staying there for the fight.
Yeah, because you can move and like attack in the same round. So if you wanted to throw something and try and exit out of the exit out, you can do that, or you can say to fight it off.
Okay, like let's be honest. I feel really bad for doing this, but Graft would be running.
Okay, go for it.
Yep. Okay, after and Nagel, would you have ran after trying to club it, or like, because it like pinched you, but you weren't actually grappled at the time?
So like in my headspace, like I had kind of backed up,
Okay.
trying to see if like this thing could kind of be attracted towards Graft. So I don't know how you're mentally positioning it, but I now see like me, Spider, Graft, and then onwards to where we're supposed to be going. So
Gotcha.
like, if there's space to kind of get around, like he would try, but I don't know how feasible that actually is.
Okay. Well, I'll just say both of you were heading in that general direction towards the corridor after the attacks, but it is going to get its turn to try and attack. And because you're both exiting at the same time, I'm going to do the odd, even again, odd with Graft, even with Nagel. And it is odd this time with Graft. So you're going to make an agility test to see if it's able to get you in its pinchers.
5.
Okay, so same thing. So you can.
How does one go about using an omen?
So if depending on your omens, you would just reduce it down by 1. You
Okay.
could either, with this, I would say you would either want to re-roll, or you might want to see how much damage it does and reduce the damage by a d6. Either way, whichever you want to do.
Go ahead and re-roll.
Okay, and you
16.
can. Nice. So it tries to pinch at you, and you manage to move out of the way, easily avoiding its clutches. Kvetin, you see coming in, like almost entering into the corridor to the room that you're in. You see Graft and Nagel heading your way, followed by the giant cave Salzarite. There is in the center of this Stonehenge type stone setting that Torvik is just kind of frozen, stuck in there. What would you like to do?
Perfect. I sheathe my sword. Come, you fools, come! Monkeys, this way, this way! And I run to the other side of the stone henge circle and start waving my arms and screaming. And when I do, I scream for them, come around, don't go through!
Okay. So
Did you say this was a Salazarite?
Yeah. I try to bring them into all my worlds.
Hey, I mean, I've got one hanging on the wall. Why not?
So Kvetin, you managed to do that. You get around there. Torvik, you are conscious of everything that's going on, but you are just paralyzed. Is there anything that you want to try to do while paralyzed?
I don't know what omens do. But I don't know if that helps me at all. I don't think it does.
No, not in this instance, no.
Okay. He'll you know what he would do? He would try to move enough to toss Priscilla to the other side of the thing.
No, you're trying with all your might, and you just can't move enough. Like if your mouth is open in there, you're gonna try and like ha 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 without actually really moving your facial muscles and get some sounds out. But you're like, yeah, that's too magically restricted.
Okay, gotcha. So you're just like,
You hear this bellowing out of Torvik. Nagel, what are you doing?
So I don't know how moving in and out of combat works in this edition or this game. If I move away, is it going to draw an attack of opportunity?
No. You can move and attack. What's that?
I would be able to swing at it and back up.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that.
Well, that's what I'm going to do, just in case. I don't. As much as I think that Graft as a cultist with his disgusting teeth and tongue and mouth and everything else, they're still an ally, and I don't want them to be completely eaten. So that is a 12 on my.
That hits.
So I roll my D4, right?
D4.
And that is a 4.
You feel it solidly connect this time, and you can feel like that you did some damage on this thing as it comes down on its big pincher, and it just kind of, you see it kind of shift just a little bit, like almost as though you bashed it down a bit. Graft, what are you going to do?
So then I was going to then try to listen to what Kvetin said and try to get into the room on the other side of the circle.
Okay. Yep.
That far.
Yep. You make it partially around, like almost like he's at the far back, and then you're just up kind of beside in the back. There's all these stonework around the circle, so it's kind of like there's a pathway around the outskirts of it, then with a corridor to the southeast side, but you're basically to the northern end of it. Graft?
Okay, so where am I standing?
So you came through from the south into this space, and then the room goes kind of out about 10, 15 feet on either side, and then goes up.
Okay.
And to the southeast, there's a corridor. So you could come around and go straight, like right around the corner and go through another corridor, or your troop is on the other side of a big stone circular area that's got like stone, and you see Torvik just kind of paralyzed in, like they entered into the circle and they're just kind of stuck there, almost like in midair.
Spider is behind me?
Yes.
Is the spider able to follow me into this room?
It looks like it.
Is there anybody still in the room with the spider?
No.
I'm gonna try to barricade the door. Is there anything
there was
that
no
I can...
door. It was just a corridor.
Just an opening. So like there are no rocks or anything. It's just gonna.
Yeah.
Everything here is all like made of roots and vines that kind of come down from growing down from above. So it's all natural roots that are kind of making up the wall. So
Draft,
okay,
come over here.
In that
Go
case,
around.
no, I continue to haul ass. Like, let's go.
okay, are you going like to the corridor to the right, or are you going up to the far end of the room where your troop is?
Where my troop is. I'm not gonna split the party. This is a very dangerous place, and I go the whole time.
Okay, and you hear Kvetin saying go around to manage avoiding the center of the stone, I assume. The spider creature comes in and starts working its way toward you, starting to knock down some of the pillars, not completely inside, like as it's trying to work its way around the corridor towards you, knocking pillars down, just barely missing Torvik as it starts coming towards you. Because it's so big, it doesn't actually get to move and attack in this round as it's trying to work its way towards you, but it is coming at you.
Thanks, I hate it.
So like it's coming around the circle. You could feasibly go like almost like you're running around in a circle and go out through the southeast corridor, leaving Torvik there in the middle, or you could what would you like to do? This is I'll keep it in the order that it was with Kvetin. What would you like to do?
Is it possible for me to run around to get behind it and try and shoulder it into that sphere?
Yes. So you're gonna try and run around and just kind of like check it into the sphere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead. You're running. Make a strength test to try and knock it in.
That's a natural 1 on the die. I think I'm going to turn in one of my omens at this point.
That's a good call.
To not have that stand. That's much better. That's a 19.
19.
Nice.
Okay. You slam into it. Roll. Let's see. Roll a strength. Let's roll a D4 to see how much damage would do.
4.
Okay. You run and you slam into it, and it lunges forward, getting like halfway into the circle, knocking almost like a domino effect, doom, 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 as all the pillars come crashing down around it. Part of it is still outside of the outside of the circle because this creature is so big and part of it is in. So like half of its body, but its head is out with its pinchers going towards the rest of your group. As all the pillars come crashing down, Torvik, all of a sudden you feel like your feet land on the ground and you see everything that's happening and you are mobile again. And you see the page of the piece of paper that was in the air floating like 5 feet in the air, just down to the ground. Nagel, you would be next. What are you doing?
So does this creature look like it's trapped in any way?
It's almost like it's in a glue trap, almost like, I don't know, like part of its body is stuck, but its head and its pinchers are out, like still like trying to lunge at you almost.
All right. Well, I want to back up further away. I'll pull out my sling again, and I will give that a launch.
Yeah. Hold up. I might have a better way.
What do you want me to do?
Are we able to like just kind of move away from it so we're not in danger?
Yeah, you can do that.
That scroll of transference. Can I transfer someone else with it, or is it only the reader?
You could try and see what happens. But you've already made your action this round. Let's see if Graft or if Torvik do anything first.
Yes.
So he said hold off, so I'll hold off.
Okay. So
back away so this thing is not gonna bite me.
Okay. And Torvik?
So I think he would land and then try to scrape up the scroll or paper or whatever it is and run as quickly as he could to the rest of the group.
Okay.
Bearing in mind that he hobbles because he has 3 toes missing and limbs. So just leaning on that staff real heavily, like, Priscilla, we made it. We're making it. Here we go.
Perfect. You grab up that paper and you do just that. Graft, what are you going to do with your turn?
Is it possible to try to lure the spider into the circle that trapped Torvik?
So part of its body is in there, but part of it is not. It's kind of lunging out right now. It's trying to lunge out.
Okay, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble visualizing things tonight. In that case, it seems to be well and truly trapped, and I'm just going to blow a raspberry at it.
Perfect. So, Kvetin, you were going to try to use your scroll?
Yes. Graft, that old hound of yours, how would you like to give it a new lease on life?
I'm sure he'd appreciate it. I am like, you can just tell that Graft is a little sus about this, but isn't going to fight you on it.
I'm going to attempt to transfer the hound into the spider.
Okay. You're going to spend one of your power points that you rolled at the beginning.
I am.
And then you're going to make a presence test with the DR12.
All right. Come on, dice. Don't screw me. That's a 17, 18.
You go to cast it, and you're like trying to read it while looking at the hound. And as you're doing it, as the spell completely finalizes, all of a sudden you feel like your body fall away from you as it lands on the ground. Now you're seeing things out of 6 eyes. You're seeing everything all around. Your body feels strange and large. Your legs, all 8 of them, seem to move. And everybody else, you see this creature just kind of almost like Bambi in the cartoon, where like almost like on ice, just trying to get up and stand. The magic that was holding it in place is no longer doing it, as all of the stones in the circle had been knocked down. And you see this Salzrite like trying to stand up, and you see your friend Kvetin just lying on the ground in a giant pile.
I feel like they would see something else because like I'm in control of the spider now.
Right.
You see these spiders' heads sag and like it just sigh.
I don't believe it worked the way he wanted it to.
I mean, magic really does. Isn't that right, Priscilla? You have to be very careful with it.
So the scroll doesn't go away. Like it's usable per day.
Right. Yep. You can
So-
use the thing multiple times a day.
So he didn't really he's never done this before because meta, we know he just got it.
Right.
And he pulled out a scroll. Would we be able to look at it to see is this a duration thing or is this a
As you go over and you see it's still kind of in his cold hand, his body's not dead. It's just it's almost like comatose. You can see in his hands, you can pull it out, and that information really isn't there on the scroll itself as to how long it lasts or if there's a way to reverse it or anything like that.
I don't see anything here that says anything useful. Do any of you know? I mean, Torval, you use magic. You've read scrolls.
Yes. Do I know anything?
Make a presence test and let me know what you get.
4 + 2, 6.
You think this will probably last a day or maybe two.
Priscilla, what do you think? Priscilla seems to think that it would last probably until the next dawn.
Do we have any rope?
I start gnawing down vines.
Okay.
So-
What's that?
Can I make webbing?
Yes, you can.
I want to go over to the body and I so spider 8 legs.
Yep.
So I rear up on 6 legs and kind of not aggressively, but kind of wave them away with my 4 legs and web the body and just want to stick it to myself.
It takes a little work because you're not really used to how this body works.
Yeah.
But you managed to poop out some webbing and and get it wrapped up and with a little assistance figure out a way to get it to stick to you.
Can we make sure? I imagine someone's got a cutting implement that there's the mouth isn't covered. I don't know if the body is gonna function with him not in it or what, but I just to me that feels natural to make sure the mouth is not covered.
Kvetin has a blade sheathed on him.
Yeah, so I'll definitely draw that and deal with the typical insults that happen when it comes out of the scabbard.
Oh, roll D6.
6.
It wasn't a 1, so that's good.
Graft, you were ripping down vines and gnawing at them. How many of those do you think you tore down?
Oh, how thick are the vines?
They come in all different thicknesses and shapes because
Okay.
it's
Well-
everything is covered in it.
I'm gonna go with about 7 slender ones.
Okay. Okay. You get those down. What would you like to do with them?
Well, I was going to attempt to tie up dude's body, but since it's already been taken care of, I'm just gonna wrap them and tie them to my gear.
Okay. Sounds
Waste not,
good.
want not.
Yep.
So I guess now the important question is, can Cretin understand us?
You are completely understanding what they're saying, but you can't really communicate back.
I nod, which basically looks like a spider just bobbing up and down or bowing. I do a weird spider shrug, and with one of my 4 legs, point to the direction that we were heading in.
Well,
I have to say this is incredibly odd.
while all that was happening, Torbeck, did you look at the scroll that you picked up at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Roll a d6 and I'll let you know what it was.
D6. 6.
Roll a different one because that's already been found.
Okay. 5.
You read it as the binding.
The binding.
Yes, from what you can tell, it will immobilize a creature.
Oh, okay. So that usage that I had at the beginning of the day, that was for any scrolls, right?
That's any scroll. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just burnt out anyway.
Right.
Okay.
How do we know what our power is?
Roll a d4, and that's how many you have at the beginning of each at the beginning of today.
I have one if you guys need a scroll used.
So I will probably whisper to Priscilla substantially, and then say, this scroll freezes people, like how it did to me and the spider that is now Kvetin. Is that right? 1 bulb for yes, 2 bulbs for no.
Bob once.
Okay, we have a system. That's important. So onward.
For the first time, I feel like Kvetin feels brave, and I will kind of squirm to the front.
Nice. And how are the monkeys reacting to Kvetin being wrapped up in webbing and on your back?
So I think they look confused at first, and then Big Monkey corrals them all onto the spider's back, and they're protectively clinging to the webbing around Kvetin, but they're really annoyed because it's very sticky and it's getting in their fur. And also, when I webbed myself, I would try to not web my face and stuff. How good of a job I did, I have no idea, but
Very good.
I'm not used to using my butt like this.
No. Torvik, will you roll a d6 and a d10? Oh no,
a d6 and
is it?
Yep.
Is it Torvik or Torvol?
It's Torvol.
Torvol, sorry. I have sloppy handwriting.
So I got a 4 on the d6 and an 8 on the d10.
Okay. Thank you.
What does your jester think about the spider?
Oh yeah, he's very distraught, and but he's really irritating all the time anyway. So he's just capering around the spider, and now he's just doing nothing but making bad spider and web puns.
Priscilla says that you should web his mouth shut, Kvetin.
If a spider could look like it's contemplating something, it definitely does.
Kvetin, as you work through the corridor to the east, you're working your way through, and you're kind of squeezing through the 10-foot wide opening. And even though some of the rooms before had taller ceilings, this is definitely lower. But it opens up, and you catch the smell and odors of warm, steaming stew. The corridor continues eastbound, almost like a natural 10-foot slightly arced corridor, but to the north it opens up into a larger alcove. It starts at a 20-foot width, but it grows to about 30 feet in width by probably 30 feet-ish deep, and there's a small shack that is built into the side of this little cavern.
I want to go up to the door and knock on it with one of my forelegs. I'm trying to look in with my spider eyes.
Roll an agility test, just because you're not used to this body.
So that would be an 11.
Okay. That you kind of jab, and the sharp pointy end of these things just kind of goes right through one of the roots and is kind of went through into this small shack. As you then pull it out. Everybody else, you're seeing this shack. Actually, everybody make a presence test and let me know what you get.
Or
Also a
17.
4.
You said 17?
I did.
Excellent.
7.
Okay. Graft, you see like all along the roots leading up into this larger alcove, there's strange runes carved into them, almost as though they're some sort of magical barrier to this room. You didn't seem to have any problem entering into it, but you noticed that as you entered in. As the door, as you slammed your giant claw in and then pulled it out, you hear from inside, "Go away! Go! Get out of here, you nasty beast!"
Can spiders make noise?
You can do like some sort of chittering noise, like
I'm gonna definitely
of your like pinchers going across, or like your teeth grinding, like some Hellraiser type noises, maybe.
I'm definitely doing that.
Go away. What do the rest of you do as Gavetin in Saul's right form is doing that?
Are we able to like use his form as like cover to kind of look into the room and see what's there?
So it's a small shack that it's kind of covered in roots. There's almost like a small window you can kind of glance in, and it looks like maybe it's a like small living space in here. You can see kind of like a table, and maybe there's a bed in there, and there's a little bit of like smoke or steam coming out with you smell the stew from within as well.
So, fun fact, tarantulas hiss and wolf spiders hiss and tarantulas can purr.
Interesting.
Unless I got that wrong, but either way. So apparently there are some spiders that do make some noise, but most do not.
I see.
Have to, make a D&D spider that purrs just to mess with it.
What are you all doing?
Are there any entrances into the shack besides the front door?
As you look around and kind of, if you're walking around it, there's like a small window area, but it doesn't really look big enough to work your way through. So no, it's really just the front door, and the rest of it looks like it's just looks like almost like the walls and the roots have kind of grown over it. Like maybe at one point this was above ground and it sunk down, and now it's just kind of enveloped in its surroundings.
And I'm completely out of character. He wants to like look in the window. Can I see what would look to be the book that we're looking for?
So you look in, and you see like basically like a very simple wood interior, small table, a bed with a chest, and then you see a pot of stew cooking over an open fire pit, and you see this kind of human-looking person, except they have large patches of bark growing over their skin, and small twigs are kind of sprouting out in different areas. And you see him kind of like looking, like holding the doorknob, and then has like kind of like a staff in one hand, just kind of holding it by the door. As you're looking through the window, roll an agility test.
Now, all agility tests for me are at +2, right?
You don't have to worry about that from the armor, because this is more just whether or not he sees you.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. That's a 6.
Okay. He looks over and he's, "Are you with that creature?" There's no glass or anything on the window, so it's just kind of like an open space.
Yes.
"Why are you with it?"
We're looking for a book.
"A book?
Yeah.
Do you want to come in?"
That's why we knocked.
That wasn't a knock. That was like an arrow coming through the wall.
He knocked. He's very new to knocking.
He can't come in, but if there's other humans, you can come in. And he opens the door up.
Why can't he come in?
He can't fit in here. He would destroy my house.
Okay, I have to stay at the doorway.
I bob and purr, and then all the monkeys rush in to find the stew.
What? Monkey, get! And it tries like hitting the monkeys, trying to keep them out, trying to get them out. There's not. This is a small hovel. There's no room for. I don't have enough stew for all these monkeys.
The monkeys are now jumping up and down on everything.
No more monkeys jumping on the bed.
I'm really sorry. It's usually Quentin who deals with the monkeys, but well, he doesn't really talk so well right now.
See, well, he hobbles over and sits down on the crate that's in this room, in this kind of like one room shack. Please come in. Please help yourself to stew. I am Darga. Please tell me where do you come from, and tell me what brings you down into these tunnels.
We're coming to find an acquaintance of Priscilla's.
Who's Priscilla?
This is Priscilla. Say hello, Priscilla.
Hello, Priscilla.
She says hello back.
Interesting.
We're trying to find a book with some scrolls in it. Really, I'm trying to make sure that a new evil cult is not started with this magic.
Oh, there is a cult down here. Believe me, there is indeed a cult down here.
What about a two-headed basilisk?
No, the two-headed basilisk does not have anything to do with this cult. The cult here is about the giant gaping mouth that is trying to consume everything. Yes. They leave me alone, thankfully, but what do you think this book will do to stop this cult?
No, we need to take the book from them.
Yes, but why do you need to keep it from them?
Because they will have more power with it.
And you are going to get it out from underneath these tunnels?
That is the hopes, yes.
Please, is anybody eating his stew?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, it's the best smelling thing down here.
Yep. And what about Nagel?
So, how soft is the meat? With him being old, he's got decaying teeth, so he don't chew all that great.
Right. Everything is cooked down. It's very
Excellent.
soft. It's been simmering for quite a long time. It smells really good compared to a lot of the horrible stuff that you've eaten in your travels. So tell me more of the outside world. It's been such a long time. Has anyone been to Galgenbeck lately? What is going on the surface? Are miseries occurring? Are the end of times upon us yet?
I would say not yet, but there's probably not too much longer. Not that I think I've got terrible long for this world.
Yes, I'm surprised I've made it as long as I have. It's been a long time since I've had guests. It's even with these obnoxious monkeys. It's good to have you down here. I'd love for you to entertain me with stories as much as you're willing to.
Just make sure that you don't ask that one. Points at the jester. He's terrible.
We can't tarry long because we do. But getting a chance to sit and not worry as much about danger. You're
How long?
Are you?
Sorry, go ahead, Ted.
You're not a cultist, are you?
Oh no, heavens no.
He'll go on a very rambling story about the time that he was in a cult and how it put him on edge and he barely escaped with his life.
Okay. So that goes on for quite a while. Does anyone else want to regale him with any stories?
Well, it might not be the best thing in the world, but Priscilla was telling me about there's a blood cough that's taken part of the world. In fact, Gelgenbeck, is it Gelgenberg or Gelgenbeck?
Galgenbeck.
Gelgenbeck has been taken by the blood cough.
Oh goodness. That is not a good sign. The end times are definitely near. If there's anything that can be done to stop this cult. And by this point, you've probably been telling him stories for close to an hour. He opens up this trunk from underneath and pulls out this torn page. It's like, if you're looking for the book, Malkala the Mad Wizard, he tore all of the scrolls from within it out. There should be 6 pages that you're looking for. And he hands it over to Nagel, because Nagel told the long tale of the cult and had been the one that mentioned about wanting to get them out of there. Nagel, will you roll a d6?
4.
As you read this, and as the scroll gets handed over to you, you realize that this is a scroll for undead minions. If you were to encounter any of the undead, they would heed your words and do your bidding.
This is certainly a dark scroll. I spent time in the faith, and I much prefer to just send the undead away. And he kind of like taps the crucifix, amulet that he's wearing.
That is why we must keep this out of the hands of those who want it so badly. You know that Malkala wants to raise the dead and bring forth this evil being and transfer himself into this deity. That's why he's trying to memorize all of the spells, and all of them in a specific, certain order that he needs them to be in. And that is why he's hidden these scrolls throughout the tunnels.
How did you come into acquire such a thing?
I may have noticed where he was hiding one and snatched it up. I hear things under here, and I don't want him rising to power.
Oh, I completely understand. I just, out here alone, how have you not succumbed to his minions?
Well, I have my ways.
I
can be unseen by certain cult members. There are barriers that I can create that keep them away from my home.
Oh, if only there were more time, perhaps you could share this and we might be able to bring it back to the world.
So I cannot leave this. I'm, as you can see, and he's pointing to like the bark and skin and the sprouts, the twigs growing from him. I am now one with this underworld. This is where I belong.
No, it's not exactly natural.
No.
But you are kind and you have done a portion of our mission for us. So it is with great thanks.
Well, hurry and get out of here before they find you.
So do we have 3 of the pages now?
You do.
Excellent.
So while they're doing their visit, I would like to climb around the cavern and examine the runes.
Okay. The ones that you've already been in? Or forward?
In the roots. You said there's roots, runes carved.
Oh, the runes. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. You climb up and you see the runes in detail, and they are all like magical sigils that are carved into it. You can do you want to try and like decipher them, or
yeah, if possible, or activate them. I don't know. See what happens. I want to poke the bear.
Roll a presence test. This is with your background, wretched royalty. I'm going to say this is a DR 16.
Okay. That's a 3.
Okay.
It's just scribbles.
You see that they're there, but you like it all looks like just magical gibberish to you. Is there anything else that you want to do in that hour of time that they were in there?
I would just do that, and I'd probably stay up high above and kind of like act as a sentry.
Okay. You notice that like this room, it kind of goes up almost to a peak, and there's a small little hole where you can see some of the air up above where like probably somebody walking through the dying forest would see little bits of smoke come out of, especially when stew is being cooked. So there's a little ventilation out of this room.
I will keep that in mind for later.
Okay.
And I'll spend that hour practicing webbing, see if I can figure out how this stuff works.
Excellent. Good call. And you also know that with this body, you have a like, now that you're starting to feel it out a little bit more, you have both the mandibles and you also have a bite, and you can also leap 50 feet vertically and 35 feet horizontally.
Ooh. I'm a jumping spider.
Yes. So do you all come out of Darga's sunken home?
Sure.
Yes, I also wanted on note that I ate an obnoxious amount of that soup.
Excellent. You were very full, and it was very hearty, and it makes you feel warm inside.
So, do we have to make any kind of rolls for being poisoned, or is there any chance that it healed us?
So healing, I guess so. I think that would constitute a short rest. Let's see. Healing, rest. Oh, I should know this by heart, but I just, for some reason, do not.
No one gets the rest in your games. There is no rest.
No. Okay, so rest. Catch your breath, have a drink, restore D4 hit points.
All right, let's roll a D4. Hey, look at that. I feel better.
Awesome. So yes, chatting with Darga and taking a break definitely made you feel a little bit better.
It's almost as if that spider didn't bite me.
Graph, roll a D6 and a D10, if you don't mind.
4 and 6. The first one was the D6.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. So far that there is a corridor heading southeast that you can go out of, or you can go back the way that you came.
Is this Master of Fate thing something that uses unlimited, or is it something you're really only supposed to use a limited number of times?
I don't know, because since you used like the character generator, I'm not sure, but you can go ahead and try and use it anyway.
Okay, sure, I'll use it, because it basically says, what is the substance of or what are maps when the substance of causality opens itself to you? You know the right way with the DR8 presence test. That's a 17 on the die plus 2, 19.
Oh wow, okay.
But I also only have 2 hit points and
Sure.
1 omen. So
well, so you know that you need to continue going east.
okay. Priscilla says that we need to go east.
Didn't we already know that we were going east?
What's that?
Didn't we already know that we were going east?
We're continuing to go east because that's what Priscilla said. See? And he just kind of like holds this skull up to you, up to Nagel's face.
You know I don't like Priscilla, right?
It's all right, Priscilla. He didn't mean it, dear. He didn't mean it. Wretched old man.
Kvetin, are you continuing to take the lead in this giant spider form?
Yeah, he's definitely feeling a lot more confident. So just looking at the class abilities, Stephen, it does look like other things have a number of times per day listed. So and that does not.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. We have Deus Ex Machina compass.
So as Kvetin, as you continue working into the eastern tunnel, it takes a turn northbound for about 20 feet or so before it opens up into a much larger alcove. There's a pocket that dips down to the south and then kind of bubbles up to the northwest before there's a corridor at the far end that continues northbound. But as you enter in, it's warmer in this room. It stinks almost of wet fur. And in that southern nook, that alcove, as you're turning around and you're seeing out of all of your eyes, you see what looks like a large stone statue. What would you like to do?
So as I get more comfortable with this new body, if a spider could strut, Kvetin definitely begins strutting, and he wants to examine the statue.
Okay. As you work your way over to the statue, you realize it's a statue of a very large serpent. It's probably about 10 feet in all directions. And as you get closer to it, these rats crawl about it, hissing at you, baring their large teeth as all of you approach. And as you're looking at it, make a presence test.
It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Nice. As you're both looking at it, you see you see that part of the stone has been chipped away, almost like the rats have been gnawing at it, and blood is trickling down the stone.
I gotta make a bonobo roll. Hold on.
A what
Okay, I
roll?
rolled well enough that I do not bite the statue. But you can see Graf thinking about it real hard.
Yep. Yeah, the blood is like, what is there a real serpent in there? Because that would be tasty.
So, Brian, if you're not used to gaming with Robin, anytime they're not sure of whether this is something their character would do or not, they make what they refer to as a bonobo roll.
Excellent.
Is this
Okay.
too stupid right now, or am I going to give in to my lizard brain?
Yes. Always give in.
I want to begin tapping the serpent.
Okay. So as you tap at it, are you tapping trying to break away pieces of stone? What are you trying to do?
At first, just kind of an exploratory tap to see what happens when I do.
Tap, because you can feel it feels like it's not solid stone. It feels like this is a nice this is the candy coated shell on the outside of something juicier.
Well, I can't say anything. I want to bite one of the rats.
Okay. You bite down on it. You can easily now that you're getting a feel for this creature, they're as you go to bite down on one, the rest of them scurry away quickly because they've seen creatures like you before, and they do not want to get eaten.
Well, if Kvetin's gonna bite stuff, I'm gonna bite stuff. I bite the statue.
Okay. Are you trying to bite into the stone or the little bit of fleshy bit that's revealed?
On the edge of the little bit of fleshy bit that's revealed. I'm gonna try to make it bigger.
Okay. Because it's immobile, you're able to just go in and do that. Roll damage, just so I know how
Cool.
much damage you would do to it.
How much damage do I do with my teeth?
I think you do a decent amount.
I do have a bite attack.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. 6.
Okay. That's what you rolled, a 6. Excellent.
Yes.
So let's see. And you can feel as you bite into it, blood and fleshy bits from inside the serpent that must be encased in this stone shell is just trickling into your mouth.
Does anyone want to be a big snake?
Why, so two of us can't talk?
Yes.
Yep.
But I can't read, so I can't.
Yep. If you can't read, you're going to have trouble reading those scrolls. What would you all like to do?
Can I look around and see if there is a paper or something scroll-like, or that would contain a paper or scroll?
Make a presence test as
Okay.
you're looking around.
8 plus 2, 10.
You're looking around, there isn't any markings or it doesn't look like there's any secret compartments on this snake. This giant serpent, it doesn't look like there's it's not coiled up with a scroll stuck down in its coil. Nothing just that jumps out at you now.
Okay. Is there a way out of the room?
Yes, there was a corridor to the north.
I wonder if we're supposed to go there. Priscilla, what do you think?
Oh, and Priscilla says yes. And
Priscilla says yes. Okay.
Graft, are you assuming that you're using your mapping skill again?
Yeah. Sure.
Graft, are you continuing to just chew on this statue?
I mean, if we start moving, I'm going to start moving with the rest of the party. But up until that point, yes.
Okay. You as you're gnawing into it, like there's definitely like the bone structure of a serpent underneath the stone. So you're just kind of chewing away at it.
Okay. I mean, like I'd be more like trying to chew outward than down in.
Okay, so like trying to like peeling away the stone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you're peeling away, the more you peel it away, the more it's trying to work its way out. Like you can see it like wiggling inside, almost like it's trying to break free.
Oh, I should probably stop doing this. Like at the point that it occurs to me, I should probably stop doing this, I will. But that point is significantly longer than most people would have continued chewing on a rock. So, but I feel like most people probably would have thought maybe I shouldn't do this before they started chewing on the rock. So
yes. It hasn't gotten to the point where it looks like it can escape yet.
I will begin putting a web over it.
Okay. The web is definitely starting to encase the serpent alongside what remains of the stone structure.
And I give Graft a stern spider look.
Nah, you got this, buddy. I believe in you.
And so once that's done, what are you going to do next?
So, while we didn't find a scroll with Graft chewing, coveting, rewebbing, Nagel will take a look around and see if there's anything in this area that was overlooked or could be useful. Less Torval's look covers everything.
Okay, go ahead and roll a presence test.
Oh, that is a 13.
As you look around, like you're looking around the alcoves, and there's a little alcove to the north, just like a little nook, and you see like kind of just off in the corner. Roll a D. Let's see. Sorry. Roll a D66. So 2 6 sides like percentile.
That is going to be 66.
Excellent. You see the skeletal remains of a cat that was like curled up, almost not moving until you stumbled upon it, and it just kind of and there's like little bits of flesh still hanging on, but it does not look like it is living at all. It looks as though it's reanimated. But it's like, and it starts like trying to nibble at your feet, even though you have boots on.
So I will present my crucifix. Try to see if I can convince it to scurry off.
Okay.
So I don't know whether this is a use power or whatnot, but it says, the crucifix can be used in encounters with undead as well as trolls or goblins. Check morale, add or subtract the priest's presence modifier to see if the creatures bow and kindly remove themselves.
Okay, very good. Roll 2d6 and add them together and add your presence modifier.
It's going to be an 11.
As you say that to it, it just kind of runs off like to the northern corridor and runs away.
So was there anything that it was kind of nesting or guarding?
There's like an old, a little fragment of some bit of fabric, but nothing like as you pick it up and kind of move it around, it does not seem to have any real significance to it.
Well, at least it's not here to bother us.
You'll deity must be very influential to be able to do that to undead.
I've found some faith in light of the time spent with the cult. I just try to convince them to just carry on. There was no harm.
I see. Priscilla, he influences undead. Be careful.
What else would you like to do in this room?
Well, at that statement, I'll shake my crucifix in the direction of Torval just to get a reaction.
And Torval will imitate the cat with
Excellent.
So, Cretin, are you done now? Can we continue on?
Bob's up and down once.
As you continue on, Kvetin, will you roll a d6 and let me know what you get?
It's a 5.
As you move through the corridor north, the corridor only extends about 10 feet before it opens into a very oblong room. It is a giant mound of skeletons. Just a giant pile. It's dry, it's musty. The room is easily 35 feet by about 20 feet. There's a wider corridor or a mouth of the room above that's wide before it looks like a corridor goes both west and east above it. But you have to skirt around what looks like a giant pile of skeletons.
Priscilla, what do we do?
I want to rush forward and just start flinging skeletal remains around to kind of like dig through the mound.
So you're doing that. As that's happening, everybody make a presence test to see all the things that are being scattered about.
That's how we make it rain in Mork Borg.
All right, so we can use an Omen to re-roll.
You could, yep.
I have 2, so I'm going to go ahead. That's better. That's a 16.
Okay. And what did everybody else get?
19 plus 2 for 21.
Nice.
What
about Graft?
3.
Okay. So as things are flying, with the Torval with the 21, you see an arm get dislodged from what looks like some fallen hero, and the arm flies through the air, and it looks like it's got a piece of paper almost the same color and size, wound up, flying through the air, gets thrown to the northeast part of the room. As Nagel, as you're seeing things scattered about, roll a d66 again, and I'll tell you what you see. Roll it twice, actually.
I got a 41 and a 32.
You see a small stone trinket, and this really catches your eye because it's that of a 2-headed basilisk. And it almost gets kicked and lands right at your feet. The other, you see what you recognize as an herbal healing kit gets thrown just off to the side, not far from you.
So he would pick those things up, but he looks at the stone trinket. Is it literally just a piece of stone carved? Is it?
Yeah, it's like the little stone things that you would normally see carved of little animals, but this is of a 2-headed basilisk.
So is the 2-headed basilisk something that is a legitimate thing? Because like he believes he's hunted by the two-headed basilisk of the one true faith.
Yes. So she is the two-headed basilisk is like the gods in the setting, like kind of like the everything.
Okay.
Like kind of revolves around them.
So does this appear anything more than just like a stone trinket? Does it have like gems in the eyes? Does it have some kind of aura about it?
It's just small and stone, but you feel like now that you have it on you, your luck may have improved for the day.
Well, perhaps
Do you keep it on you?
I do.
Okay. Gain 1 additional omen each day.
That's a nice trinket.
Yes.
Neato.
Torval, do you go to where that arm flew through the air?
Yes, and he is absolutely scraping up the paper because he's all about that scholarly life.
Yes.
It's all about that paper.
Yep.
Roll a D3 now.
D3. That's a 3.
This scroll is called Almighty. It looks as though the caster, whoever casts this scroll, will increase they will be stronger. They will be able to do things much better for a short period of time. Like everything that they do will be improved for a short period of time.
Okay. Seeing this and knowing that we don't want all of the pieces to be together if something happens to one of us, Torval will go over to Graft and be like, Priscilla says you should have this to keep for safekeeping.
So we have a scroll that offers transference, a scroll that offers strength, a scroll that allows the ability to control minions. What was the one that you have, Torval?
I have the one that freezes things in place.
I don't know how that one fits in, but I can imagine if Kvetin could be, if Kvetin were to take the scroll that I have, summon minions, then use the one that Graft has, increase their strength, and then transfer themselves into a body like he has there. That would be incredibly powerful, and that is just with 3. I don't know how the one of freezing applies. I definitely see that this old man's warning of using things in a sequence could be absolutely terrifying.
Indeed.
I will try to gently tap on Nagel's shoulder, and I will then with my foreleg point to Torval and then point to myself.
I'm just picturing a game of charades with a giant Salzarite.
Yeah.
Priscilla, what's he saying?
I think he wants to eat you.
I bowed twice.
Priscilla thinks that he wants me to eat you.
Yeah, if a spider could look exasperated. Is there another way to go?
There is, to the north, there's a corridor that looks like it runs both east and west.
I will scuttle forth to the west.
I thought we were supposed to be going east.
Can I ask Priscilla?
You can do that, but did Kvetin, do you stop?
No, I scuttled.
Okay.
I scurried.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I got a natural 1 plus 2, so 3.
Perfect. Yeah. You know that you need to go to the west.
All right. Priscilla says we must follow Kvetin.
Very good. Let's see. Kvetin, will you roll a d6 and a d10?
I will.
So does Mork Borg have a lingo for that particular combination?
24.
For the fumble and the crit?
No, for the D6 10.
No, this is something I did because this deck had 55 rooms. So
Okay.
so the 6 would act as a 0, and the 1, 2,
Okay.
3, or 5, and then if you got 56 or higher, you just have to re-roll.
Okay.
So, sorry, what did you get?
54.
54.
I think. I have no idea what I said now, and I got my dice.
That works. Okay.
I know one of them was definitely a 4. Oh, 24. It was a 2 and a
24.
2 on the 10 and a 4 on the 6.
Well, we're going back to 20.
That would be a 42 then.
Oh yeah, if it's the 4 on the 6.
Yeah.
Okay, 42. Dun dun dun. Bring the 54 back. I'm using the cards to help guide me as I go. So as you work your way westbound, the corridor continues on as it opens up into a very large space that it has a musty smell with stagnant air. Skeletal remains lie all over the floor, and it looks like very large remains. The skeletal creatures, they're almost humanoid, but the skulls are kind of elongated. They have big long jaws. Their hands are extra long with very strong, sharp bones in their fingers. And in this room, it looks like there's a corridor leading south, but it looks like it's south and also descending a bit down, further down underground. And then far off to the northwest, it looks like there's another corridor. And as you work your way into the room more and see the skeletons, you see them starting to come alive as they're starting to pull themselves up off of the ground. And these towering 7-foot tall, strange alienoid looking creatures. And reanimated creatures.
I used one of my forelegs to push the priest forward.
So I will attempt as I had done before, because it can only do it so many times a day. And I will shaky the crucifix and see what happens.
Okay.
So roll 2d6 again.
Yep.
That is another 11.
Okay, hang on just one second. Let me check
For
on
sure.
these. You see them kind of getting pushed back, and they're working backwards and away from you, but they're still kind of their bones are going like this, but they're backing themselves away from your presence.
So would I interpret this as they're not going to get closer, but they're not going to go away?
Yes.
Well, there's quite a lot of them. So looks like I can't make them all go away, but we might not approach. Can we get around them?
You can easily get around them. You could either go to the south or to the north, either one.
Does it look like there's anything in the room that they might be protecting? Does it look like there's on them that we should try and get?
It looks like whatever they had is probably at their feet where they were. So you could kind of look around and see if there's anything remaining in the pile of their bones are so destroyed, whatever was on them has long fallen off of them.
Okay.
They're so far deteriorated.
I would like to do that. If they're not going to approach, then perhaps it's safe.
Okay. Kicking around on the ground, there's like what little remains of some clothing. It looks like they were probably like these were some sort of humanoids at one point that had actual clothing on them. You see buried underneath some, like as you start to pick up and move some of the fabric, it just kind of crumbles and deteriorates because it's that old. You see a very large sword and some small, very strange looking daggers. The shape of them and the metal that they're made out of are very odd.
There's some interesting weapons here, my companions. If there's something that might be of a preference, is there anything? Are the 3 daggers the same? Or
yes, they're essentially the same. They look like they're all made from the same smith or who like it all looks like it was made by the same culture.
What's the deal with the larger sword?
It looks like it's made for hands that are bigger than humans, and it looks two-handed, but even bigger than that. So these creatures, as they're standing there, like their skeletal remains are about 7 feet tall. So it looks like it was a sword meant to be wielded by something bigger than humans.
Now this might have some value, either historical or some other situation.
Do you think Coveton or Graft could wield that?
Graft, do you want a large sword?
Yes.
I will hand the giant sword over to Graft.
Excellent.
I will quickly check my strength. Oh, actually, I'm strong enough to use this. Okay.
Fantastic. This sword is a D10 for damage.
Woo.
I guess if nobody else is going to take them, Torval will take the daggers.
Yeah, I put them on the party treasure list, but if you want a dagger, it's all yours.
Sure, I'll take a dagger, so that way I have a melee weapon besides my stick.
Great. That'll be a D4 dagger.
All right, I got a D4 dagger.
Yeah.
It can do twice my hit points in one hit.
Yes, it can. Where would you like to go from here? Is there anything else you'd like to do in this room?
Just for shits and giggles, I'll shake the amulet in the direction of the undead, and we'll continue west, I guess.
Okay.
Can I see if that's where we're supposed to go?
Sure.
All right. He whispers to Priscilla for a 17.
Yes, northwest is the way that you're supposed to go.
Northwest. All right, he'll just kind of like hobble after Nagel. Wait for me. Wait for Priscilla.
As you work your way out of this room, and the musty smell and stagnant air continues as it enters into a large open room that has strange nooks and alcoves all throughout. There's a chest overgrown with vines. There's statues of human-like beings that look like there's 2 of them in almost what could make for corners of the room that look like they're sculpted from some dark obsidian material, but there's roots growing up over top of them.
Are these humanoids like what was the skeletons in the previous room?
They are, and so they, if depending on if the screen will allow me to show kind of what these creatures look like. Let's see if it'll. They kind of look like this. Oh no, backwards. This weird.
Yeah.
creature.
Oh, cool.
And you can see a really good image of that on the Game Found page.
Yes. So it's
Which
this strange, almost alienoid creature with multiple eyes and long fingers, but these are standing more elegant and regal in their poses. What you can see of them, what's not overtaken with vines.
Are they statues or are they actually the humanoids?
They look like obsidian statues.
Okay. Can I go try to pick the lock on the chest?
Sure.
I have lock picks
Excellent.
and a file.
Oh, fantastic. Make a presence test.
So, looking at these things now, not skeletal. What do we know about them as a race? Are they a monster? Are they a culture? Are they?
You've never seen them before. You know nothing. Yep.
So they don't look like that dude we encountered before. Because looking at the picture, it looks kind of like how the other guy was described a little bit to me.
Oh no. That guy was human, but it's almost like he had a skin disease where like bark had grown over it. Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't like turning into one of them.
No. These things are much more like almost like you can see musculature and almost like almost skinless, where you can see. So like even in the obsidian statues, you can see where the muscles would be like more defined, and seeing like how sinewy that would be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm digging the art. I went to the website to look at it. It's
awesome.
Really cool.
Thank you.
You should absolutely back it if you haven't already.
Thank you. So what'd you roll for your presence test?
Dirty 20.
Okay. As you're about to start unlocking it, you realize that this is trapped. Make an agility test to try and disarm it. Because you have lockpicks and a file, I'm going to give you, it was a DR 14, so it's going to be a DR 12 instead.
Okay. I have 0 to agility, so this will be interesting. Does meat beat?
Yes, it does. Yes,
okay, then I beat it.
Yes. So as you're disarming it, you manage to prevent darts from popping out and hitting you in the hand.
Thank you, Priscilla, for the warning.
Opening it to find yet another scroll.
Ooh, what does this one say?
This one is roll a D2, because we're down to 2 of the scrolls left.
2. Because it's a 4 on a D6.
Yeah. Sure. The taste.
We just descended all the way down in order.
Did we really?
Yeah. So far, yep.
Oh my gosh.
We had rolled 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yep.
This guy is not creative about how he hides things, at least in this version of the multiverse.
He actually hit them in order. We just went backwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm picturing him being like a little senile, so he needs to remember what order
his locker combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes. All zeros. This is called the taste. And from what you can tell is once you've cast it, any damage that you do is you heal.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Graft, you don't read, right? I mean, you don't read correct. Like, if you don't read, obviously you wouldn't write. Graft?
I mean, no.
Okay, then he won't give it to Graft because that feels like a Graft thing to have.
Yep.
But
no, absolutely illiterate over here.
He'll give it to Kavetin actually, because Kavetin's a giant spider and is going to be doing more physical damage probably. So yeah, he'll kind of like show it to the spider and explain what it does.
I'll stick it to my Kavetin body. That's what.
You just have a page just kind of stuck onto your side. And when you were aside from that scroll, you also found a bunch of letters there.
Okay, I'm digging into those for sure.
Okay.
If it was trapped, it was good. So
excellent. They look like very old letters. And like just quickly looking through them, you just notice 2 names, Anthelia and Caldor, and like flipping through something also about a dark sword that's long forgotten.
Priscilla, do you know anything about this dark sword? What about these people? And like he's just muttering to Priscilla as he's reading them so that everybody probably gets the gist of the letters.
Excellent. And so there's still the 2 statues that are just kind of overgrown with roots.
I want to start uncovering one of them to see if there's anything going on with it.
Okay. As you uncover it, are you like ripping or tearing away at the roots, or are you just like moving them? You're okay.
Yeah, ripping them away.
Okay. Roll a D2 for damage.
1.
Okay. You rip it away, and you can see how the statue is just kind of sunken into the ground, and it's just kind of been overgrown, but it looks like that strange creature. One is just kind of looks like it's just holding some strange fruit in its hand.
Is there anything about these statues that look like they interact with each other, or are there any kind of like push or any of that kind of stuff?
Nothing out of the ordinary, that like nothing that strikes you like this is going to trigger anything or anything that could feasibly be done for that.
Whether it was a trap or revealed a secret location. I mean, it's these things are utterly alien. Never heard of them, never seen them before, but apparently there's statues of them down here, so they must have existed at some point in time beyond just a monstrous culture, because there's beautifully carved obsidian statues of of these things. So
just the material alone, you think that these would have to be worth a really hefty amount of silver.
Right, but there's no way to easily get them out of here. So.
Right.
How big are the statues? Are they like lifelike?
Yeah, they're like lifelike. They're about like 7 feet tall.
Okay. And is there another way out of here?
There's a corridor to the north.
Okay, I will go to the north then.
Let us continue. There's one more scroll, and I mean, maybe we won't have to confront this Morkel or whatever his name was, but get the pages, we can get out.
Graft, will you roll a D6 and a D10 for me?
Of course. 3 and 8. That 8 excites me.
Yes. The corridor continues northbound, about 10 feet or so, until it starts smelling of rot and decay. Off to the east, it pockets into a bigger opening in a bigger room, with what looks like a partially eaten Salzrite in it. It turns its head and just kind of hisses at you as Kvetin starts working your way into the hall and towards the room. It looks like something has eaten away at its side.
But it's like an undead remaining thing.
No, it's still alive. It's just like it's a partially alive Salzrite.
Oh, nice. I am going to challenge it. And I will rear up and hiss back at it.
Rearing up and hissing back at it, roll a D6 for initiative.
6.
It is going to go first. It's already damaged and feeling threatened, so it lunges at you. While you're in this form, you have 12 hit points, and you also have an exoskeleton, which is a negative D6 armor.
Okay.
But it is going to attack you. So make an agility test. And it's trying to attack you with its pinchers.
Oh, that's a 19. Just a 19.
So you easily move out of its way. Each of you roll individual initiatives, D6 plus your agility modifier.
3.
3.
5 plus 0.
4.
And what would Kvetin get?
3.
3. Okay. So Torval was a 5. So Torval, you see this injured Salzright leaping at Kvetin and missing. What do you do?
I examine the room to see if there is any paper or any scroll tubes or anything sus like that.
Excellent. You see like there's part of like this creature's like entrails like lying on the floor, away like taken apart from this creature. There's blood all over the place. It looks there is a body of what looks like those statues were, but it like in the flesh, that has been destroyed probably by this Salzright. Roll a D66.
3 and 1.
You also find a map of Graventosk, which is one of the regions in Mork Borg, with one grave circled.
Ooh, okay. I would like to go and collect those items and get myself to a defensible, preferably hidden and vaguely cowardly position.
Sure, you can like work your way back into the like a corner of this room far away from the combat.
Absolutely. That's what he's doing.
Graft, what are you going to do?
Well, I think I'm just gonna keep a lookout the way we came to make sure that nothing's coming up on us.
Okay. Very good. And let's see. Kvetin and Nagel, what are your agility modifiers? Because that'll determine which one of you goes first.
Who said
0.
I'm +2.
Okay. So Nagel, what are you going to do?
So the last time I, shot sling bullet to these things, they practically did nothing.
Yes. But you see that this one has part of its exoskeleton is already damaged and broken away. So there's parts of this that are more exposed than others, that would be more susceptible to damage.
Now, when I look at this dagger that, we recently found, does it like seem like sharper than normal, odd material that might affect
Now that
these
you're
things?
Looking at it now after the statues that you just looked at, you notice that there's parts of it that have that same kind of obsidian material in the hilt of the dagger.
So I'm going to do the stupid thing and, trying to use a large, imposing look at me Salazarite. I want to kind of get to the side and attack the wound area.
Okay, go ahead and roll if you're using the dagger, roll a strength test to hit.
That's going to be a 12.
Okay, a 12 will hit. Roll the damage.
It's a D4.
Yep.
It's going to be 2.
You get the dagger and you feel it going into some of the fleshy goodness of this creature as it lets out a little, as it's already feeling the pain that it's been enduring so far. Kvetin, what are you going to do?
I'm going to bite it with my mandibles. That is a 17.
That hits. The mandibles do, the pinchers do D8.
Ooh, D8. I never get to roll that die in this game.
If you want to spend an Omen, you can do max damage.
You know what? I only have one left, and just in case, I'm not going to spend it. which may be costly. That's 1 point of damage.
And you lock onto it, though it manages to get like right around part of its pinchers, so it does not actually cause any damage. It tries to bust open and tries to like lunge in at you with its little tiny teeth, trying to bite in at your face. Roll your agility test to avoid it.
All right. And my armor's what, a die 6, you said?
Yep.
My agility, so that's going to be a 10, so it's going to hit, and I'm going to block 3 points.
And roll the d6 for the damage it would do with the bite.
All right, 6, so I'm going to take 3.
Okay. That's not so bad. Torval, what are you doing cowering in the corner?
Do I rifling through what I got? Does any of it look like any of these scrolls or anything?
No.
Okay. Then I am going to do something stupid because I have grown attached to these people, even though I am a coward. And I am going to sling my dagger, my new dagger. I'm going to throw it at the creature in the big gaping wound, trying to hit there.
Okay. The throwing is going to be a presence test because anything that's aimed requires that. That's how you aim stuff. So roll
that's
that.
what I'm hoping for, because I am much better at presence than anything else. So that is 12 plus 2, 14.
That hits. Roll the damage.
All right. Did you say I'm allowed to just spend an omen to do max damage?
Yes, you are.
Because I have one omen and that's it. And I'm going to use it to do max damage. Because in this moment, he is feeling attached to everybody. He goes, ah! And just throws the thing.
It goes right in, and you hear it like hiss again and kind of try to turn its head back, even though it's completely engaged with Kvetin, and your blade just sinks into the fleshy goodness of its side. But it is still standing, even though you can see like its body just kind of shift down a little bit as though it's wearing on it. Graft, what are you going to do?
So you know that meme with the puppet that's like kind of looking elsewhere and then sort of looks over, that's me right now. I can't just let that guy throw a dagger and then not get involved in the fight. So I'm gonna swing the fuck off sword.
Awesome. Yeah. So you run in with the giant sword. Roll the hit.
16.
That hits. Roll the damage.
Good. I would also like to spend my omen for max damage.
Ouch.
You can describe how this thing gets obliterated however you want, because you totally
straight down through the skull. I'm gonna bisect.
Nice.
Brains everywhere.
As that's coming through it, like Kvetin, you're able to dislodge and disengage as this Salzarite just kind of crumples down to the ground right beside Nagel, who's like right next to it. After having jabbed it, it just kind of falls down. Your dagger's still there. Like more of it just kind of shreds as the body collapses to the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna rear up on my rear 4 legs and do a spider happy dance with the other 4 legs in the air, kind of like raise the roof style.
Nice. As you're doing that, you're almost touching the ceiling of this part of the cavern, and it has been destroyed.
How many more of these do you suspect are going to be in here?
I'm not quite sure. I'm more concerned about this. And no, we look at the recently living of the creatures that we've never heard of before. Where did they come from? How could they be here? They've been underground this entire time? Or are they from somewhere else?
You're just clutching the fuck off sword.
Well, I don't know.
What else is in this room?
Just the remains of what looks like an Abyssian, or one of the tall fleshy creatures, and that's really about it. It looks like it battled in this room. It had sustained damage from that creature before it killed the creature that's in here. That creature looks like it's clothed in similar clothing to what any of you wear, though much longer.
Has anyone searched the definitely not an Abyssian creature yet?
Yes. Torval searched that.
All right. So I want to turn around and just go back the way we came into the last, turning point that we could have went in a different direction.
And just go north into the next room.
Yeah.
As you start to enter, as you start working your way through the corridor to the north, hazy smoke is kind of filling the air. It smells of burned leaves and dried herbs that kind of start to fill this room. This room kind of curves around to the west. It's about 25-ish feet deep, and then it goes on to the west for about 80 feet. You can kind of make out that, especially with your all the eyes that you have, Kvetin, you see at the far end, it looks like there's a cot against the wall, and some sort of fabric is attached to it, and something is driven into the ground, almost creating a lean-to within this room. And you see somebody that just, it looks like an old priest of some sort, wearing this long robe that looks kind of sewn together of different hides. As you all get in there, you see this person kind of look over at all of you. Make a presence test, everyone.
Three.
17.
17. 16.
15.
So everyone but Nagel, you notice that it's clutching this person is clutching this small scepter, and its hands, they're almost like, though the rest of its skin is pale, is black, and it's kind of like almost like stained in ash or soot, and it looks like it kind of creeps up past the wrist onto the forearms. They look old and weathered, and the cloak kind of thing that he's wearing, though it looks like it's sewn together of different skins, it's also has a slightly transparent look to it, and it has these strange, unnatural looking wrinkles and folds. Who are you? And he's like,
Priscilla.
why do you Go ahead.
No, he just holds up the scroll and says, Priscilla.
Why are you here with that abomination, that creature?
I kind of look around behind me,
Can I help you? Do you have something to say? Or are you just intruding on my home?
I will do spider purrs.
What are you going to do if we just say yes?
Yes, that you're just intruding my home?
Yes.
What is the name of the is it Morkel or something along those lines?
The Malkala?
Morkala. We're looking for one who goes by the name Morkala.
Found him, you have.
Oh, good. We need one more of your pages.
One more of my pages?
Yes.
How many of my pages do you have?
I would like to implement spider jump at this point, Brian.
Okay, where are you jumping to?
On him.
His face.
Did you say on his face?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll to hit. And then roll initiative for the group. Because you just said that while he was in the middle of conversation, I'll let you get this in, but then we'll have to take it from there.
All right, I'm going to spend an Omen to not have that roll. That's much better. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. You land on him. So you can move and attack, especially with this leap. So you
Yeah.
leapt through the air, landed on him. Are you going to do the pinchers or are you going to do the bite?
How much damage does the bite do?
The bite does D6.
All right, I'm gonna do the pinchers.
Okay.
I'm probably missing out on some good poison stuff, but I'm still figuring this stuff out.
Sure. Yep.
Like, what is it? Oh, that's another dirty 20. Like, what is this stuff that keeps dripping from my mouth? Oh, that's better. That's a 7.
So, let's see.
That would take me out.
7. 6. You bite into him, and like you can tell, you dig deep. You get past this cloak, this strange cloak that he has, and your teeth definitely go in and taste blood and flesh. Let's see. Nagel, will you roll a d6 for the group?
For initiative,
Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
4. Okay, so it gets to go first. It is going to try to, because you just attacked it, Kvetin, it is going to try and hit you with the staff that it had in its hand. Roll an agility test to try and avoid.
Agility 14.
Okay. And but you have the armor's not going to affect your agility. So okay, I guess it would because it's tier 2. So you do get hit. Roll a d4 for damage.
All right. So I soak 5.
Oh, so you soak it all.
And 1 point, yeah.
But also make a toughness test. DR 14.
All right. That's an 18.
All right. You managed to avoid that one. Everybody roll your individual initiatives.
2.
4.
6.
1.
Oh, never mind. Not 6. I have a negative to that. 4.
4. Ooh. Okay. Nagel.
4.
4. Kvetin.
2.
2. Okay. So Nagel's going to go first because your agility modifier is better. What are you going to do?
You know what? This group, we came here with a mission. This guy is, I've already been told he's got a cult. I hate cults. It's going to go against my, my inferiority complex and my, paranoid and whatnot. I'm just going to rush him with the dagger and stabby.
Excellent. And you know that you were also being paid to bring back his hands as well.
Sure. So that's going to be a 12.
That hits. Roll the damage.
4 again. It's going to be 3.
You feel your blade going in, and something about the weird cloak that he's wearing just kind of envelops the blade as it's going in. The weird creases and folds soak it in.
I'm slashing for the arms as he's trying to defend himself, but the cloak still kind of interfere and what have you. But I'm trying to get the pre-game work on cutting the arms off.
Excellent. Very good. Graft, what are you going to do?
That's right. I'm Graft. Yeah, I'm gonna stab him. I mean,
Excellent.
oh no.
What'd you get?
4.
Okay. Well, at least it's not a 1.
It's not a 1.
You just missed terribly.
Yeah. It's a heavy sword. I've
Yes.
never used one before. I got very lucky in that last room.
Kvetin, what are you going to do? Oh, and is anything happening with the monkeys at this point as well? I forgot about the monkeys in the last combat.
Oh, the monkeys never get involved. They never do what I want them to. They're just there. You know what? I like these pinchers, so I'm just gonna keep going with them. That's a dirty 21.
Ooh, that hits. Roll the damage.
That
I'd
is
be more
6.
concerned with a natural 21.
6 points.
You feel like it crushing, but something about this armor, this cloak that he's wearing is really resisting a lot of the damage that you're doing. Torval, what are you going to do?
Do I notice the cloak doing that?
You notice that this cloak is made of a really strange material. Make a presence test.
19 plus 2, 21.
It's almost like it's made of the skins of the creature that you just saw that was lying on the ground that was killed by the Salzarite. Of this strange alienoid creature. It looks like this cloak is sewn from their skins.
Okay. Can I do something weird? Is that allowed in this game?
Weird's always welcome.
I would like to try to run up behind him and take the cloak off of him.
Okay. I'm going to say you're going to run up behind him and you're going to have to make an agility test and then a strength test to yank it off. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead, do the agility first, then the strength.
I have a 0 to this.
Well, it's not a negative at least.
20!
Nice. You yank it and you're going to get, I'll give you the difficulty instead of it being a 12 for the strength, it's just going to be a 10 because of getting the natural 20.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to blow people's mics out. I was just excited.
No, that's great.
Okay, that is a 16 plus 1, 17.
Boom, you yank it, you rip it right off of Malkala.
Okay, and then I will like hold it up to Priscilla and be like, this would make a lovely dress, wouldn't it?
Put it on. Put it on.
Yeah, I'll put it on then.
Okay. You now have a D4 armor, so it's a negative D4 whenever you're being attacked to soak damage.
If it soaks the minimum amount of damage, I have increased my hit points by 50%.
It's very important in this game.
Now
my question is, would it stack with armor?
I don't know. Now because you've got you stole that from him, and he's being attacked by Kvetin at the same time, and he's being attacked by everybody up close. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to see who he decides to attack. 1, 2, 3. He's going to turn towards Nagel and try to hit you with his staff. Roll an agility test.
So for me, that's a 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled a 7 on the die.
Roll a D4 for damage, and then also make a toughness test with a DR 14 on the toughness.
D4 damage, D4 soak, and what's the damage, or what's the toughness check?
DR 14.
So I got a 19 plus 1, so that's good. I rolled 1 damage, soak 1 damage.
Okay. You get bonked with the staff, but nothing really happens.
It clinked on the mail.
Yes. What do you do to retaliate?
I'll you would describe that I noticed that the cloak kind of got in the way. So I'll like give him a smile with my decaying teeth and be like, cloak's not gonna help you anymore. Slash him with my dagger. And that's a 14.
That hits. Roll the damage.
That's gonna be 3.
You see that he is now suffering. Like he's taken a lot of damage so far from all the hits that he has incurred. Graft, what are you going to do?
I stab again.
Big sword.
Excellent. Roll to hit.
Big sword things.
13.
That hits. And the damage?
3.
As
Big
you,
sword, and that's all you can do.
as you cut into him, he's like, please stop. I'll do whatever you want.
Die.
Kvetin, what are you going to do?
I mean, I would say give us your hands, but I can't talk, so I will actually snip at one of his hands at the wrist with my mandibles. I mean, not that I expected to do anything. That's a 16.
That hits.
For 1.
And Torval, now that you have the fleshy armor.
That
I want
sounds
to try
nasty.
to disengage if that's a thing, or like otherwise back up.
Okay.
And then try to use my sling because I'm way better with presence than anything
Sure.
else.
Yeah.
So I want to try to hit him with my sling.
Yeah.
That's a 16, man. This dice is on fire. That's wild.
You hit
So
with the
16 plus 2, so 18.
Yep, that hits.
So D4 for my unlimited supply, and I got a 4. Bet.
Nice.
Something about how you fling that stone from behind just clocks Malkala in the back of the head, and Malkala flies into Kvetin's Salzarite form, hits, and then slumps to the ground.
Is that it?
I'll proceed to try and snip his hands off.
Yeah. It does not move, and you are able to easily snip his hands off.
I'm gonna take
Look at
his head
this.
just to make sure he's dead.
And I conveniently have a sack for 10 normal-sized items. I'll put 2 hands and a head in there and have room for some more. Does he have anything on him, like, the last scroll page?
He has a staff that he was using to attack with, that looks very ornate and perhaps has some sort of magical properties to it. He does not have any scrolls on his person.
I'm gonna knock his lean-to over, like knock it like the temp part away.
As you knock it over, you notice that it was. It looks like it was made from 4 femurs, sharpened and driven into the ground. As you knock everything around under this cot, there's a journal, and there's a stew pot that if anybody looks inside, it looks like there's cooked slugs, chunks of moss, bits of bark, and a stained wooden spoon resting inside of it. Kvetin, make a presence test.
That's not great. That's a 9.
Wasn't a really difficult one. You remember that the last time you were in these tunnels, you had passed by the room where you took the form of this Salzarite, and you remember that there was a piece of paper hidden behind some of the webbing that your party never did anything with.
So, quick question. Like, do I feel the presence of the spider in here anywheres?
Like other ones in here?
No. In this body, in my mind, do I feel like there's anything else going on, or kind of like fighting against me?
No, there's no like venom, like symbiote, like turmoil or fighting.
All right. So I kind of do like a scratch my head with my one of my forelegs, and I kind of motion for the party, and I beat feet back to the spider room.
So real quick, I will search his tent, just to make sure that there's not anything in there, because that's usually where most people are going to take be their stuff,
right?
Not on them.
You find a ink vial and a quill and a journal, and just quickly flipping through it, it looks like there's details about different rituals and something about bringing Abyssal to its full form and transferring Abyssal's power into another vessel.
This one is full of dark thoughts. It's a good thing that we have rid the world of him.
And then, Kvetin, were you leaving out of the room?
Yeah.
Okay. So after you find that and you look around the room, this room had no other entrances to it.
Yeah, we were gonna head back from here. I just making sure that there isn't anything left. I mean, he could have had silver to whatnot. We are apparently money driven to some degree.
And since you probably won't get to use this the staff again, it is a staff of the sick, which the toughness tests that you were passing, had you have failed, you would have become sick with one random infection that's in the back of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's icky.
Oh
So
my
you-
gosh.
Yes. So you work your way back to the third room that you were in, the room where this Salzarite first came from, and Kvetin like kind of tears away some of the webbing to reveal that hidden behind some of the webbing, knowing this webbing was a trap to alert the Salzarite, there is the last and sixth final scroll that was missing from the book.
Aha.
And beside the scroll, you also see an empty book where with blank pages where these scrolls were torn from. This scroll is called Root Sculptor, and it would allow you to bend and move roots, earth, and rocks at your will.
That would have been nice to have all the way through here.
Yes. So you've found all 6 of the scrolls. You've taken Malkala's hands. You've gotten everything that you need to finalize your quest. Is there anything else you'd like to do before leaving these tunnels that lie below the dying forest?
Well, I don't really know much about the fallen warrior or the numerous skeletons of these strange peoples, but I will offer up some prayers that if they happen to be good people and need to be set to rest, perhaps that will aid them to whatever, new life that they would be going to, or afterlife that they would be going to. Very, very generic, very, be at peace kind of thing, but take a moment to actually say it before, we completely leave.
A quick aside about Mork Borg. Are there good people here, like in this world?
Yeah, there's good people, sure.
Okay.
Not
Well,
everybody's horrible.
The
Just the PCs.
the druidy guy, gave us food and
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you were to entertain him for an hour, he would give you the scroll and hope that you would get it out of this place. He was only hoping for good things under there. He's just been sickened.
So it's slightly less bleak than Veskrim.
It's pretty bleak.
And
So you manage to, if you get out of the tunnels, you have all of the pieces. Whether you decide to take them back to the person who had hired you to earn the money and turn in the scrolls, or whether you keep them for yourself is completely up to you. But I think that's where we should conclude the adventure today.
For sure. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm just going to continue living my best Solarian life ever or not. So,
Right. Yeah. And it's really up to the GM whether or not that wears off or not.
Yeah.
So you can stay in that forum if you'd like. We worked through 11 rooms out of the 12 rooms out of the 55 rooms in the campaign itself. And I was having you roll the D6 and the D10 for random rooms. And the first 3 or 4 rooms that you rolled were ones that had to be in this adventure anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had, it's but how are you getting the exact rooms that are on this list of 6 rooms that have to be in the game?
If you're unfamiliar with how cool the Salzarite is, this is kind of what you're looking like.
Yes.
This thing is
Nice.
super awesome.
Except that's a little baby one.
This is a small one.
It's the hatchling.
But Brian's artwork is absolutely amazing. This is one of the 2 creature creation sculptures that I have adorning my gaming wall. I had to have it since we were talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you all have any questions about the game or anything now that we've played through one of the 4 storylines that are in there?
No, it's a lot of fun. The only question I have is, for any viewer, is why haven't you backed this yet?
Thank you, Ted.
No, actually, I will ask a question. The the cartography cards that you were using for this,
Mhm.
the same set that came out earlier, or are those new cards?
So I took one of the existing sets and I recolored it for in the book layout and also for the VTT. So it has like a yellow overlay, so it fits in more with the Mork Borg theme. So if you have one of those sets already, you can use it in gameplay. You also don't need it for the gameplay because in the book itself, in the page layout, I have what the rooms look like. So you can just roll randomly if you're drawing it out on a big map with a bunch of people playing around a table,
Yeah,
or if you
I
just want
was
to theater of the mind it.
I was kind of like looking through the game found page,
Mhm.
because it said, below the forest of the dead, which is
Yep.
this
Yep.
particular pack here. So I would be able to use this one
Yeah.
for it. All right. So if
Yeah,
you-
absolutely. That's what I was using. Oh, you can't see it,
Yeah.
but that's what I was using as I laid it out on my desk,
Yeah.
so I could kind of keep track of it because I wasn't using a VTT or anything like that. We also have a Roll20 package that's currently being developed that will have all of the pieces as well, which is my first foray into Roll20.
Yeah, well, wasn't that what didn't Tony use that?
I used that one that I kind of cobbled together, but I'm having Sigil Entertainment, who also does all the Savage Worlds Roll20 stuff. They're doing it for me, so I don't have to worry about figuring out how all that stuff works.
Yeah, so if people wanted to go see this adventure run again, also showing the layout of the maps and the cards and everything, on +1 XP, there's a game that I play in and Brian runs.
Yep. And
So
then
it's good
there's
stuff.
also some screenshots in the add-on. If you click on that, you can see click on the add-on and look through the cycle of photos. I think I put a couple of screenshots in there too.
Cool. Well, thank you for running for us. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. It was my second time playing Mork Borg. I think everybody else was their first time. So it's a really fun, easy to learn game.
Yes.
Anyone who knows how to play any kind of D20 D&D game can pick this up and start playing with ease. So again, thank you for running. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. Go check the links in the description. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Nerdy.
Stay nerdy. Bye guys. Thank you.